Here's one thing I've learned, y'all, and this came to me today. I really think that when you try to avoid conflict, the deep root of that is because you want people to like you. Just think about this. When you're in the middle of a conversation with somebody, it could be you at work, it could be you talking to family, it could for sure be you, like if you're in the business of sales. It really doesn't matter what the case is. When you're having a conversation with somebody and you feel that little bit of tension, it doesn't even have to be a whole lot, but you feel that little bit of tension because they say something that you might disagree with, or you say something that they disagree with. You'll have that half a second of, oh, they don't like that, or, oh, should I stand on what I just said? I think we've all encountered that feeling. Well, I'll say it like this. If you're a person who's super empathetic and maybe even a little too sympathetic, that's probably happened to you. But I do think it has happened to all of us because we're creatures of comfort and we want love and we want to fit in and feel like we have a community. I get it, but today, I don't know like where this came from. I think it's because it happened to me. Like it happened to me today, and for whatever reason I pondered on it. I was like, you know what? I think that came out of a deep-rooted place of wanting to be liked and just wanting to not cause any tension so that, you know, me and this person can remain cool and that, you know, they'll still be my friend. Not even be my friend, but that they'll like me. That's when it hit me. I was like, this is a form of people pleasing. When you purposely don't say what it is you really want to say out of fear of getting bashed or out of fear of somebody thinking that, oh, well, you're different, or if you just have an unpopular opinion and that is not trendy or is not what the majority thinks is okay and you voice it, you're pretty much at risk of being isolated and being cast out or being like, oh, you're on that side of the fence, well, I can't really rock with you. And the thing is, why should it matter that much? Shouldn't your opinion be your opinion? Whatever you think, whatever you feel, wherever you stand on something, shouldn't that matter just as much as they matter? Shouldn't that matter just as much as theirs matter? Something to think about. When you're always the person who's like, oh, I'm sorry, or I didn't mean to offend, or oh, you know, I apologize, like that wasn't, you know, like I'm not judging, or when you're always constantly having to defend yourself out of fear of somebody saying something, just check that and really ask yourself, why are you doing that? Because again, my conclusion is that it's because you want to be liked. You don't want to be bashed. You don't want to be thought of as that person that is whatever, controversial. The root of that is you want to be accepted. So, like I said, I told y'all that I caught myself doing this today. And of course, this isn't the first time that this has happened. But again, for whatever reason, it just, something in my brain just clicked. Quick backstory. I'm not going to say no names, but this was in regards to an opinion post. And it was supposed to remain anonymous. And, you know, he was asking me, so what'd you think about that? And I was like, oh, well, you know, I really didn't have too much to say, at least not anything bad. I may have made one comment or said one thing that I thought could have been improved. And he was like, well, what was it? Now, granted, after I said, oh, I may have made one comment, I kind of left it alone and it was quiet. And he was like, well, what was it? And I was in my heart of hearts, I was very hesitant to say it because it's called anonymous for a reason. Like, no one is really supposed to know what you think or how you feel. But in that moment, I felt pressured to say something. You know, I kind of glossed over it and I gave him like a vague answer. But the bottom line was, I didn't want to answer it. That's what I should have did. I should have just not answered it and said, well, I'm not gonna tell you. I think as human beings, that's what we tend to do a lot of times, especially in the climate of where we are in our country today. I'm in the US of A. It's kind of like if you're extremely blunt, you're seen as being very rude. And if you really just say what you want to say directly and flat out, people are just like, oh, well, okay. Again, back to, I don't like you. I don't like her. Because here's the thing. Grown-ups don't grow up. At least not all of them. Unfortunately, you got a lot of adults who still gossip, act like just like it's high school. So you say something that's very direct and they're just like, oh, okay. And then they'll finish the conversation. And I'm not saying that this is what this person did who I was talking to, but I've experienced this firsthand. I've seen people, grown people, talk in somebody's face and then turn right around and look at me and be like, and I see so. And it's just like, my gosh. That was something I was really thinking about today. And we going into 2026, that is another change that is going to be made and something that I'm going to work on, because when you've developed a habit, or when you've succumbed to, or when you've been accustomed to doing something so long and behaving a certain way for so long, even at the expense of your own self, it's challenging and it's a journey, and it can take a while. It can take a while to really start to learning how to stand up for yourself and to not care, really, to truly not care. Because I think that phrase, I don't care what no one says, that phrase has just been used so nonchalantly, because at the end of the day, yes, you do. A lot of people care. But I'm talking about to really get to that place to where you're unapologetic for being honest. That's the goal, even at the expense of people not liking you. And another thing is, I think what we tend to do is we think that people aren't going to like us because of how we are and because of what our honest opinion is. But we don't really know. You got to give that person a chance, whoever it is you're in communication with. Because you could be all in your head like, oh, I don't want to say this because they're probably not going to like me, or I don't want to say this because I don't want to be confrontational. You have no idea what their response is going to be. They may be like, oh yeah, girl, like I'm with you, or yeah, man, I respect that. You just never know. So really analyze that. Do you avoid confrontation because you're a people pleaser? That's probably the root of it. It's a form of people pleasing. The desire to be liked, if it's at the expense of your own integrity and your own honesty. So hope that lands well. I love you guys, and go ahead and subscribe, like, and comment. Just be respectful if you do. All right, see you in the next one.